Today we're going to be looking at types of production. There are three main types of production: primary, secondary, and tertiary production. Let's begin with the primary production. Primary production is an activity that involves extracting our natural resources. It is the first stage of production. Fishing is regarded as a primary activity since it involves extracting from the seas, rivers, and lakes. Other examples of primary activities include quarrying, mining, forestry, and even agriculture. So there you see the fish being extracted from the ocean. That is indeed a primary production. The food we grow comes from the earth, primary production. The cattle comes from primary production. So the end products as we see them, but they come from primary production. Let us now look at secondary production, the second stage of production. The activity involves converting raw materials into finished goods. So the canning of the fish that we spoke about at the primary production is regarded as a secondary economic activity since it involves using raw material, the fish, to produce canned fish. Other examples of secondary production include baking, the refining of oil, the construction of buildings, roads, and bridges. Now we go to tertiary production. This is the final stage of production. All the services are classified as tertiary production. These can be grouped into direct services, which are personalized services, and commercial services involving trade and other activities related to trade. So serving the fish in a restaurant and transporting the fish are part of tertiary production. Other examples of tertiary production include hairdressing, babysitting, secretarial work, going to the doctor, going to school to get an education, banking, insurance, advertising, etc. These are all tertiary production. It is important to note, however, that all three types of production and all the industries from the three sectors are dependent on each other. So the secondary production is dependent on primary production for the raw material. In order for secondary production to convert anything so that the tertiary production can pass on to the consumer, then they are dependent on primary production. So tertiary is dependent on secondary production, and secondary production is dependent on primary production. Of course, if there was no secondary or tertiary production to do the work, then primary production would be pointless. Hence, all three are dependent on each other. One example is that the wheat in the primary sector is taken to businesses in the secondary sector where it is converted to flour and bread, and then taken to the tertiary sector where it is sold to the end user, the consumer. That is where the change of ownership takes place. I hope that this is beneficial to you. I hope that you now understand the types of production and that you will continue to seek to learn as you strive for excellence. Thank you for watching.